The last time I applied for a business line of credit, it wasn't really a smooth operation to say the least. I applied with another lender, so I said to myself, if I'm going to apply with ONDECK, I need to do more research. I need to know more about the product, the company, so that I will be comfortable about anything they will ask me. So ONDECK is an interesting player. When I started researching ONDECK, I've actually have researched the ONDECK for about a year now. I started really researching them back when COVID was in effect. So my ass was sitting home, and I've been working remotely with my company. My company is my staff, and we were like going over our liquidity solutions, and ONDECK seemed to be an interesting proposition because with ONDECK you have lines of credit up to $100,000. You have the lines of credit revolves around $6K to $100,000, so it's a revolving line of credit. You have a 12-month renewal window, so it resets every year, if you will. And we love the fact that the ONDECK you actually had a series of customizable weekly payments. So going into the whole equation, I was already happy. I was like, okay, here is a lender who will take care of me. Is very upfront, not trying to razzle dazzle me, trying to give me false promises, whatever. Because I hate false promises. I don't know about you, but I really hate that. I hate it as hell. So I love that. And so basically, what the thing here is that with the ONDECK, you have instant funding, so you'll receive your money within seconds when you make a withdrawal, like 24/7, even on nights and weekends. So they have their algorithm has a system in place that gives you the money as soon as you make the withdrawal. And you can. And one of the things that I love a lot going into ONDECK, trying to apply for an ONDECK business line of credit, is that I could also build business credit. I mean, my business really will need a serious boost from ONDECK. And ONDECK, the cool thing is ONDECK reports to all three business credit bureaus. I actually got confirmation after I spoke to a lot of people. I spoke to gazillions of people, and so ONDECK will report to Dun and Bradstreet, will report to Experian Commercial, and also I will see Equifax. So I was really happy that at least on the business credit front, I was safe. On the liquidity front, I was safe, and also I also needed to have a business line of credit that renewed every month. So that was really good. So what I did was I said to myself, if I'm going to apply for ONDECK, I really want to reduce, I would say, the impact on my credit. Because I was like, you know what? I'm going to protect my credit like crazy. This time, I don't want anybody to touch or to mess up with my credit. So I said to myself, but with ONDECK, the good thing is trying to pre-qualify. I try to pre-qualify. So basically, they'll ask you to complete the information. And so if and then you can see how much you could qualify for. It took me about 3 to 5 minutes. It's very short. Now, if you actually if you go through the application, the pre-qual process, and you love the offer they gave you, then you can complete the application itself. Now, the application will take you about 15 to 25 minutes in one sitting. Don't try to do it in multiple sittings. Okay, get your ass. Just be ready, and just spare like 1 hour maximum. Have all your paperwork, have all your information, so that you can just look at the paper and put the number that it's on the paper. Don't try to guess, because ONDECK, what they do is that they will actually probe you later on if they realize you are playing games with them. It's not really good. So you complete the application. You actually will get a decision. What will happen here is that if you get a decision, if you get approved, they will assign to you a dedicated loan advisor. So that loan advisor will review your options with you. They'll see what really works for you, and then you receive the funds. So you can complete the online checkout and receive your funds as soon as the same day. With ONDECK, things can go really fast. Really, really fast. And what ONDECK really asks for in terms of requirements for their business line of credit, we're speaking about 1 year in business, 625 personal FICO score, $100,000 business annual revenue, and a business checking account. So you got to have a business checking account. And so that was one thing, that's that business checking account thing was what messed up my friend. I have my friend Jay back there in New Mexico. And he tried to actually go with ONDECK. He had everything, but he did not have a business checking account. Even though I told him, though, I said, listen, Jay, you want to have a business checking account? So he went and his ass got denied. So now he's reapplying, but hopefully he'll get it this time. And the thing I really also was interested when I was researching ONDECK was that ONDECK actually has something called instant funding. So ONDECK instant funding is really a fast and easy way for a small business owner to actually access working capital to run his or her business. So I kind of like that. I like that with, see, in this industry, the fastest and most generous lenders are ONDECK. You have Blue Vine, you have SmartBiz. Those really, they're kicking ass very much every single day. So I was happy about that. And so ONDECK is one of the only lenders, like a few lenders, to offer business lines of credit with instant access to your funds. So this is kind of cool. Like, so you are able to draw from your line of credit when you need it and see the funds in your account in seconds, 24/7, even when the banks are closed. So I kind of like that going into this game. And I think that if you want to get an ONDECK business line of credit, this should be a one very significant benefits. Okay. And so they actually, in terms of ONDECK, so I was paying attention to, because I wanted to know what their payback look like. How does it work? So a simple answer to a very convoluted question is that with an ONDECK line of credit, draws are consolidated into one loan with one easy weekly payment. As you pay back your principal, you replenish available funds. Unlike most other online lenders, ONDECK's line of credit comes with no draw fees, just a monthly maintenance fee, and you adjust the payment amount and term to ensure a comfortable weekly payment. So this is kind of cool. So even though ONDECK is telling you like they don't have no draw fees, they're still making money off of you anyway, because that monthly maintenance fee, this is, that this can actually sort of equate to a draw fee. And the thing here is that you can also get a credit line increase. There are some times when you could really use access to additional funds. So based on your cash flow, net income, and payback history, you may be eligible for a credit line increase, not a problem. Now, in terms of your total cost of your, let's say, your ONDECK line of credit, this will vary based on a number of factors, including your personal and business credit scores, time in business, and annual revenue and cash flow, because ONDECK will pay attention to that before actually approving you. And so ONDECK actually, sometimes they offer term loans that provide lump sum funding up to $250,000. So this is kind of cool. You just have to talk to someone there at ONDECK. Another thing I was fascinated by when I was researching ONDECK is that ONDECK has a system or a tool called the Smart Box. So the thing here is that what they have, they actually developed the Smart Box capital comparison tool. So SMART in this case stands for straightforward metrics around rate and total cost, and in plain English, and in a very easy to understand format. I was like, it just means that they have a tool that actually shows you key terms you need to evaluate potential short-term loan offers so that you have a comprehensive, standardized breakdown of your cost of capital. Let me just break it down for you in a language that my grandpa could understand. Listen, Pa, it's really a way for you to know that the loan you're getting is not really too expensive. That's all. So the smart box that ONDECK has, it's just there for is that it's there to help you out. So the thing is that so ONDECK will use a couple of elements to sort of give you like the best loan or the best line of credit. Remember, with ONDECK you can actually apply for a loan but also a line of credit. But it was one of those things I was like, listen, let me first try the line of credit, and then if I like the way things are working, I can apply for a regular loan, because I didn't apply for a regular loan yet. And the cool thing is that I just knew that ONDECK loved how, like, if I wanted to please the gods at ONDECK and get approved ASAP, I needed to tell them that I was using the money for something purposeful, something important, right? So I was like, I had to talk about equipment repairs, cash flow gaps, inventory purchases, or let's say payroll provision, those kind of things. They love it a lot because they see, okay, this has to do with the business, and so this is like a business sort of expense, and this will help the business be in a better financial situation. So they love that. So be very careful about like when you have, if ONDECK asks you the use of loan proceeds or the use of line proceeds, make sure that you are telling them like something purposeful, so that they're not like, okay, why is this person giving us a solution or a proposition that we don't like. Okay, so be very careful about that. And before I actually applied for an ONDECK business line of credit, one thing I also did was I said, you know what? Am I really wasting my time with the line of credit? Should I just be going for something else? Because the thing is that I was like, what if I went for something like secured business line of credit? Because when it comes to business line of credit, you have different types, and I was like, am I losing something if I go with unsecured business line of credit? Because an unsecured business line of credit is kind of convenient, right? It's very convenient when you really think about it, because you're not losing anything, you're not pledging anything. On top of that, you basically have no skin in the game. But then the APR is kind of high too. So I said, as I'm considering an ONDECK business line of credit, should I just maybe look for other alternatives? Because should I maybe apply for a secured business line of credit instead? Because in my business, we kind of have like a healthy balance sheet. And, I really love that we have like short-term assets like accounts receivable or inventory that we could pledge actually to get a business line of credit. And I was like, okay, maybe, yeah, or I can try to have like a revolving versus a non-revolving line of credit. So for me, it was kind of important to really embrace and see all the options that are out there, because I was like, of course, we need money right now, because my company, we were trying to really grow. And in the last 3 years, especially since COVID started, our growth was kind of stalled. Like we've been actually struggling to actually move up, but I think we'll get there. And I was like, listen, if you can get some cash coming in and we use the cash wisely, I'm sure I can see like a light at the end of the tunnel, the proverbial tunnel, right? So it's one of those things. I was always, you wouldn't believe it. I even spoke with this thing with my wife yesterday. I said, okay, should we go with revolving, non-revolving? Should we go with secured or versus unsecured? And should we even go with the ONDECK in the first place? And she said, go with ONDECK. And I even thought about getting a business credit card, another business credit card, because we have 2 or 3 right now. And I said, should I just? But ONDECK doesn't really, they don't issue a business credit cards, so it's one of those things. I say, you know what? If I'm going with ONDECK, I just need to go with their line of credit. It is unsecured. I'm not losing anything. And all I need was to make sure that I really comply with their regulations in terms of having an EIN, having my social, having the estimated annual gross revenue that they asked, and like having like 3 months of bank statements, average bank balance. So it was one of those things. I was like, I needed to reach those goals, or And another thing that I really was paying attention to as I was talking to the folks at ONDECK was that I needed to really reduce my CUR. My business is a CUR, credit utilization ratio, before I applied, because ONDECK, one thing I've realized after researching them for a while, because I actually don't actually make any financial decision immediately. I always take time. I'm one of those very slow thinkers, if you will. I'm very cautious by nature, right? I'm like a sloth, if you want. I don't sleep all the time, though. I'm slow in the sense that I'm doing things the way sloths do stuff. Like, you take time to analyze it. I knew that if I wanted to go with ONDECK, their business line of credit, I needed to make sure that I reduced my CUR, my credit utilization ratio. I needed to also reduce my DTI, my business's DTI, debt to income ratio, because right now we have a couple of short-term loans, and we have one big ass long-term loan, and we needed to really make a little bit of payment on those liabilities, so that we can unlock some potential in terms of the FICO score, the PAYDEX score, and also I knew that we had to do a little revamp also in trying to really be forceful, be more aggressive in collecting cash from some customers, because some customers, they've been playing games with us for the last like 6 months, whatever. So we give, like, can you believe we give them like net 30, right? Sometimes they pay net 45, sometimes they pay net 60, but you can't really sue your customer's ass anyway. I mean, this is like, no way, don't ever do this. Where I'm from, my old folks used to say, you never spit in the plate that is feeding you. I was like, oh, that's big. When I was little, I never understood what that meant. But these days, I think about this all the time. You never spit in a plate that feeds you. I'm like, okay, so I never sue my customers for whatever. So I just was like, if I can give ONDECK a great reason that I was getting the line of credit, I'll be fine. Like, I wanted to cover payroll, I wanted to hire more employees, I wanted to purchase inventory, I wanted to repair business critical equipment, I wanted to finance a marketing campaign, I wanted to bring a seasonal cash flow, like to bridge a seasonal cash flow gap. So those things will be helpful to me. At least that's what I thought, and it worked though. It worked. So the thing is, in the end, all the strategies that I had were fruitful. So I got the line of credit, $78,000. I wanted to have more because ONDECK, they gave like $6,000 to $100,000, but I did get my $78,000 in business line of credit. Obviously, it is a line that is renewable annually, so this is kind of cool. And so they have at ONDECK, they have a 12-month repayment term that actually resets after each individual withdrawal. So this is kind of cool, and I love the fact that I can always apply for an ONDECK business term loan if my relationship with ONDECK throughout the next, let's say, 12 months or 24 months for that matter, turns out to be very truthful. I mean, I'll do everything to make sure that relationship is truthful, so I can unlock the other business term loan that they have. I mean, because I'm really targeting the $250,000 that they are offering. If I can get that, I know I can bring my business to start making 7 or 8 digits. I mean, we're making 7 digits right now, but to start making 8 or 9 digits, like that's the next phase of my business's growth plan. And so I'm just excited. I'm excited about that because I know that with ONDECK, to get the business line of credit, it's very, like, the process is very simple. As I said, you can apply in as little as 10 minutes with funds as soon as the same day, all to save you time. You have tailored options. You have multiple loan types, amounts, and repayment terms, so you can easily get what you need. In other words, the thing is that the algorithm, when you go through the pre-qual process, the ONDECK algorithm gives you many, many, many options. In my case, I got like up to the first time I tried to get pre-qualification, they gave me 8 different options. Can you believe that? Of course, some of the options were line of credit, but others were term loan, like business term loan. So they'll give you that, and just make sure that you meet the requirements though. So 1 year minimum time in business. So if you're like a brand new business, you're not going to qualify. It has to be 1 year minimum, be like a verifiable time in business. 625 personal FICO score, 625, and you need to have $100,000 business annual revenue. So that's the minimum. I'm giving you the minimum here, and you got to have a business bank account. So don't play with the business bank account thing, because they really are serious here. They want to make sure that you are bankable. You have a place where they can send the money, and there will be nothing like you're not playing games, by actually having like a debit card or whatever, having and it has to be like a regular account, like an established bank account, not like one of those online accounts. But yeah, it is what it is.